Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Gaurachandraya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Tarane. Hare Krishna. So how many of you came for the last week's class? Okay, some of you did. So as you know, we are serializing the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you. If you want to go, you can go, but I'll be happy if you stay. रुक सकते हैं तो रुकिए. हाँ, अच्छा ठीक है. This is the best therapy. Keep coming, आते रहिए. हाँ, you'll be okay. You listen to Gita, chant the Hare Krishna, and everything will be okay. So we're dealing with the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It is entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized. Normally, we are told that Gita Sar, आपको जो भी मिला आपने यहीं से उठाया, कल जो भी लिया था किसी और का था, परसों किसी और का हो जाएगा, जो हो रहा है अच्छा हो रहा है. That is not Gita Sar. At least the Gita doesn't talk about that as the Sar. Second chapter of Gita contains several topics which includes Sankhya Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and of course Bhakti Yoga. So since it contains a flavor of everything that is there in the Gita, it is described as contents of the Bhagavad Gita summarized. I told this to you some 2 weeks back that if you're having an English class, the Gita should be in English. It's been 2 weeks. You should do something about it. Those who want to read in Hindi is fine, but there should be English Gitas available. This program will go nowhere otherwise. There's no point in doing it otherwise. Sorry? You're asking me for a copy? I have a copy. I'm asking with others. Why will I start a class without me having a copy? So, I meant for everyone, there are no copies of the Gita. You should have English Gita. So this chapter, there are several topics which eventually point to the fact that Arjuna, he had several excuses to not fight. And one of the excuses was indecision. This chapter addresses Arjuna's indecision. So, Dhritarashtra was getting a little hopeful that at the end of the first chapter, it seemed like Arjuna is saying, I will not fight. So then Dhritarashtra thought, okay, this is it. Life is good. My people will have my sons will have the kingdom, and I will continue to be the emperor. So in this chapter, Sanjaya continues the description, saying how Krishna is inspiring Arjuna to fight. So it's mentioned that among the topics that are being discussed in this chapter is Jnana or Sankhya, which is the science of the spirit soul. The science of the spirit soul is being discussed. And it also talks about the Gita in action, working with attachment results and without attachment results. Sa kama karma and nishkama karma. Sa kama means you are attached to the results. Nishkama means you are detached from the results. But what is the difference between Bhakti Yoga and Nishkama Karma? The difference is that in both cases you are not attached to the results. But in the case of Nishkama Karma, you will be attached to the process. I will only do a particular thing. But in Bhakti Yoga, you are not attached to the process also. Whatever is expected of me to please the Lord, I will. Krishnartat akhila cheshtita. So, that's the difference. And in this chapter, there is also a description of the characteristics of a person who is fixed in the conception of the self, which is called Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna, he is fixed in his consciousness or understanding of the self. Now, if we are looking at the ideal person, this is the way he will be. So that will be described as we go ahead in the chapter. So please remember that I will be only giving you a flavor of the chapter. Don't treat this as a crash course in Bhagavad Gita. It is meant to give you an interest in the subject. And at some point of time, if all of you show interest, we can do a detailed Gita course. That's not a problem. So I'll just give you a quick breakup of how the chapter pans out. In the very first 10 shlokas, Arjuna's indecision is described. And he accepts Krishna as Guru. Till now, Krishna is a what? Friend. And suddenly, he accepts Krishna as Guru. It's a very paradigm shift. And then from verses 11 to 30, Krishna starts instructing Arjuna on the science of the matter and the spirit. Jnana and Sankhya. And from verses 31 to 37, Krishna indicates how performing your duty for enjoyment is still better. At least you can do something. You will be doing something. You cannot stay without doing anything. So he says that you do your prescribed duty, you will get some what? Enjoyment. You'll get some enjoyment. You'll get some result. And from verses 38 to 53, Krishna smashes this by saying how you should go for Nishkama Karma Yoga, which is dutiful work without attachment to the results therefrom. Basically, detached work without reactions. And verses 54 to 72 till the end of the chapter, Krishna talks about this Sthita Prajna, which means the qualities of a liberated soul or a Jivan Mukta. It's important for us to know that this is the ideal. Otherwise, we may think that our little heroes of day-to-day life, be they cricketers, be they politicians, be they film stars, be they entertainers or artists, we may think that this is the standard. But when we see the qualities of a Sthita Prajna, then you benchmark it with the rest of them and then you see how everything else falls short. So that's the way this chapter pans out. Now, the first verse that Krishna speaks in the Bhagavad Gita is the second verse. How does first chapter end? First chapter ends by Arjuna saying, it is mentioned that evam uktuvarjuna sankhye rathopastha upavishat visrujya sacharam chapam shoka samvigna manasaha. It is better that they kill me, Dhritarashtra's sons kill me, than I fight this battle. And he was feeling very morose. Shoka samvigna manasaha. His mind was overcome by shoka, by grief. And he said, Nayotsyami Govinda, I will not fight. So now, it says, Vishidandam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudanaha. So Arjuna was full of compassion for his family members, his grandfather, his guru, and all that. So full of compassion. Tam staya kripaya vishtam ashru purna kulekshanam. He was shedding tears of compassion for his guru. And who spoke with him? They used the word Madhusudana. Why the word Madhusudana? Can anybody say? Yes. He killed the demon Madhusudana. So why are they using the word here? Okay, that's Govinda. But Madhusudana, the word is used specifically. What else could be the reason? तो मधुसूदन काय को बोलना है? बुआ के लड़के तो माधवा बोले तो भी बुआ के लड़के. He killed Madhu. So why specifically that name to be used now? Very good. Just like he killed the demon Madhu, please kill the demons of doubts that have overcome me. Very good. So that is the point. So the Gita is a scientific book. There is a method to everything that is being said. And so Krishna starts by saying, repeat after me this shloka, second verse of the second chapter. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anaryajustam Asvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? Kutastva kashmalam. Kashmalam means impurity. How do these come upon you? What is wrong with these impurities? It is anarya justam. Anarya justam meaning arya means one who knows the purpose of life. So this kind of impurity that has come into you does not befit a person who knows the purpose of life. And asvargyam akirtikaram, it will not get you any glory in this birth or in the next birth. It doesn't get you qualified to enter the heavenly planets. So this is how Krishna starts by practically insulting Arjuna. But he tells him that what he's saying is wrong. And then he goes one step further. The third verse. Klaibhyam ma smagama partha naitattvai upapadyate. Okay, how many of you have mobiles? Smartphones? If you Google vedabase.com, you'll get it. Huh? In will be Hindi, no? Vedabase.com will give you English. You forget this is an English class. 6 days a week we have Hindi class. In case somebody suddenly becomes Mera Bharat Mahan, आपके स्मृति पथ के लिए एक सुयोज्य सूचना ये प्रदान करना चाहते हैं कि अन्यतर 6 दिन हम हिंदी में कक्षाएं आयोजित करते हैं। आज एक दिन हफ्ते में अंतर्राष्ट्रीय श्री कृष्ण भावनामृत संघ होने के नाते हम अंग्रेजी भाषा में कक्षाएं आयोजित करते हैं। फॉर दोज ऑफ यू हु लव योर जननी जन्मभूमि च, this is the reason. Because there are people who come here who are not just Hindi speaking. We are not having Tamil classes or Malayalam classes. We only have 6 days of Hindi and 1 day of English. So Saturday classes will be English. Because there are many corporates, we're hoping that we will not have time to come on other days of the week. And many of them, for them the first language is English. It'll be easier for them to relate. So that's the purpose. They can get the benefit of these classes. Okay, so, sorry? Veda Base, VEDABASE. You can just log in. But next week, I'm telling you right now on camera, please get English Gitas organized, so whatever is required. If you have any difficulty, let me know. And I'd like some water if possible. So he says, Krishna tells Arjuna, Klaibyam, the word Klaibyam means impotence. Now for a Kshatriya, the two things he prides himself about. One is his chivalry, his valor, his courage. The second is his virility or his potence. So Kshatriyas have multiple wives, many children, so on and so forth. So Krishna is insulting him by saying, how has this degrading impotence taken over you? And then he tells him, Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam Tyakta Uttishta Parantapa. Give up this degrading impotence, give up this weakness of heart. Hridaya Daurbalyam. And then he says what? Tyakta Uttishta Parantapa. Get up and fight. What is he calling him? Parantapa. Why is he calling him Parantapa? Yeah, Parantapa means chastiser of the enemy. In many ways, similarly, Arjuna should chastise his self-doubts also. His weakness of heart also. Tyakta uttishta parantapa. Get up, arise and fight. And then, so Arjuna says, how can I fight these people? They are, and then he calls Krishna by the name Arisudana. Now why is Arjuna calling Krishna Arisudana? Earlier he said Madhusudana. Sanjaya says Madhusudana. Now he says Arjuna is directly calling Krishna as Arisudana. Why? Just check. What is the meaning of the word Ari? Ari means enemy, same as Hindi. Arisudana means one who kills the enemy. Now why is Arjuna addressing Krishna as Arisudana? Please use your intelligence. ऐसा रूल नहीं है कि मंदिर आएंगे तो बुद्धि घर पे छोड़ के आना है. Pretty close. He calls Krishna as Arisudana because Krishna is killer of his enemies. But Krishna wants him to be Bhishma Sudana and Drona Sudana. They are not his enemies. It is said that in the Vedic system, you cannot talk back to your superiors, leave alone kill them. Bhishma and Drona are so special to Arjuna. No, Krishna is asking him to fight them. But will he fight against Ugrasena or somebody who is the grandfather? Will Krishna fight? No. So therefore he is as if indicating that you are Arisudana, you are killer of the enemies. Don't make me kill those who are not my enemies. And he tells him, and then he says, somebody can read the translation to text 5. You can read. You have the English Gita? Read the text 5 translation. Is there a mic that can circulate? No. Bhunjiya bhogan rudira pradigdan. Rudira means blood. We don't want a kingdom that is tainted by their blood. Okay, they want material desires to be fulfilled. They want a kingdom. But it is far better to live in the world by begging, Arjuna is saying. He's saying that Shreyo bhoktam bhaiksham apiha loke. Bhik mangna is a better hota. I'd rather beg than fight these people. Now what does it show? What does it show? The fact that Arjuna is saying I'd rather beg than fight. What does it show? Follow? That's okay, but why will he want to beg? No, but why will a king go to the extent of saying, what kind of a king will go to the extent of saying that I am willing to beg? Correct. He's a very detached person. It shows Arjuna's detachment. Imagine, you have 4 wives and so many great sons who are also warriors. You are yourself such a powerful warrior. And you're saying, I'd rather beg. And we talk about the monk who sold his Ferrari. What about the warrior who was willing to beg? That shows please understand that the Gita is meant for people of this level of consciousness. He is not some third-rate rank outsider. He's a great advanced soul. He's not just another fighter. And so, he says, I'd rather beg. And then he's saying, here is Arjuna's 5th major doubt. We discussed 4 doubts in the last chapter. Does anyone remember? I gave 5 reasons why Arjuna will not fight. Does anyone remember? Jai Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai. Now I am going to give you guys impositions or make you stand on the chair. Yeah. Good, that is one. So one is compassion. They are our family. If I kill them, what will happen? Poor people, they will lose their chance for a longer life. Second is enjoyment. I don't want a kingdom that I cannot show off to my family. Third is destruction of family. When the warriors die, their wives will be widowed. If the wives are widowed, then there will be unscrupulous men who will exploit them. And if they exploit them, there will be unwanted progeny. This unwanted progeny, all the family projects will not be executed. So welfare activities will stop. And then he had fear of sinful reaction. By killing them, we will have no glory. So Krishna systematically cuts each one of them. We'll see. And the 5th reason is indecision. So Arjuna says now, in the 6th verse, we don't know which is better. Should we conquer them or be conquered by them? Which is better? We don't know. Because Duryodhana, for your information, was a very good administrator. So if everything is going on well, what's the need for killing them? And then he says, if we killed them, there's no point in living because the family is dead. So I don't know which is better. So he's indecisive. He's under indecision. And in the 7th verse, therefore, this verse all of you should try and memorize whenever you get a chance. This is the verse in which Arjuna finally surrenders to Krishna and accepts him as his guru. So repeat after me this shloka. Karpanya doshopahata svabhavaha Prichhami tvam dharma sammodhachetaha yachreyasam nishchitam bruhitan me Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. So somebody else can read the translation. English. Aaj to English. Yeah, read, Divya.
Now I am confused about my duty and I lost all composure because of weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and your soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me.
So, Arjuna is officially taking shelter of Krishna as his guru. He is saying, Shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. Prapanna means to take shelter or to surrender. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Till now they were friends. Now he is saying, I am a disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Now, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that it is important in this material life, which is full of perplexities, bewildering situations, it is important to take shelter of a guru who will show us the right direction. It's fine. She has, in this class, she has special rights. She can do anything she wants. In fact, she is more attentive than both of you. So, yeah. So here it says that Arjuna realized that so-called knowledge, wealth, material comforts, all these things are not solving his problem. He is completely confused. He doesn't know what to do. So therefore he takes shelter of Krishna as a guru. And please remember, Acharyas say here that Krishna is telling Arjuna that, why are you coming to me? Why don't you go to Vyasadeva? They know better. And so Arjuna tells, please stop playing with me. Please instruct me what I have to do. Mam tvam prapannam. And he says, dharma sammudha cheta. I don't know what is my duty. So please understand that Bhagavad Gita is not a book that makes you just fight. That is some stupid idiot who said like this. Bhagavad Gita is a book that helps you navigate through the problems of life. It is like a spiritual GPS. That's what it is. It tells you, it helps you navigate through the travails of material existence. And here, Krishna now takes over the position of Guru. In Tamil, there is a saying. So there was this man who kept looking for ghee, right? But in his hand there was butter. It's like that. बगल में अच्छा बगल में छोरा देश में दिन हो रहा अच्छा anyway whatever you want to do quickly Hare Krishna yeah आपके आशीर्वाद से सब हो रहा है so we've reached a point when Arjuna has taken shelter of Krishna, and at this time friendly talks will stop because he's accepted Krishna as Guru. So there are no more friendly talks. One of the things we need to understand is it is nice to say that somebody is my friend, philosopher and guide. It's okay to treat your friend as your guide, but it is not okay to treat your guide as a friend. Because there is no maryada then. If there is no etiquette, there will be no faith. So he says that I am your disciple. And then Krishna starts instructing him. You can put some background music here, some heavy drumming and all that, because these are the first instructions given by Krishna to Arjuna. This is the one. I forgot something important to say here. We call Arjuna Parantapa because Arjuna is overcome by grief, is overcome by self-doubt. But because he has surrendered to Krishna, now he is going to fight. That is also being indicated. Because he's taken shelter of Krishna, now he's going to fight, he's going to win the battle. And in the 9th verse of this chapter, Arjuna officially tells Krishna that Nayotsya iti Govindam uktva tushnim babuvaha. I am not going to fight Govinda. He said, Nayotsyam iti Govinda. He said, then he felt silent. And after he felt silent, Krishna smiles. Arjuna is crying, but Krishna is smiling. Why? Why is Krishna smiling? Anybody knows why? Yeah.
I think he understands that how powerful when we fight
Okay.
he understands the advantages of strong
Now what will benefit him? What will benefit Arjuna? How will he become more wise? I want you to give the answer. That's why I'm forcing you to get into it.
I think if I look at it that way, in our life, if circumstances happen and we fight, we just become more wiser and become stronger.
How will you become wiser? That is why. My question is, how will you become wiser?
I think to face the challenges.
Just by facing challenges, you become wiser?
No, I mean surrender.
It's the same.
Not
That's surrender to?
self-divine Krishna.
Yeah, surrender to Krishna, but specifically surrender to a mentor. We take shelter of a guru, and through him take shelter of Krishna. Not that you take shelter of only guru. You have to take shelter of Krishna through the medium of the guru. So then what happens? You will get the solution to whatever it is. And therefore, Krishna is smiling, not just because of that. Krishna is smiling because his friend has now become his disciple. That is why he is smiling. Prabhupada says that in the purport. आप सोचो ना आपकी क्लास में till yesterday, suddenly tomorrow says, starts calling you teacher. You'll start smiling, no, like this. So Krishna was smiling, prahasanna, it says. Prahasanyava Bharata. And then Krishna starts chastising Arjuna first. Shishya means, it comes from the Shasana Dhatu. Shishya means you should be willing to be chastised. Your teacher will smash you, will crush your false ego. You should be ready for that. So, Krishna tells Arjuna, you can repeat after me. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashocyan Anvashocastvam Prajnabadamscha Bhashase Gatasun Agatasumscha Gatasun Agatasumscha Nanusochanti Pandita. Find out, go to your vedabase.com on your mobile and open the Bhagavad Gita 2.11. Chant the verses of the Gita along with us, it will purify you. Now that you are in a temple, use the opportunity. This class may be in English, but Krishna's slokas are in Sanskrit for all languages. Even if you don't know Sanskrit, you can chant with them, they are purifying. So, somebody can read the purport. So the point is, Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are speaking like a learned man. What does that mean? You are not a learned man. Prajnavadamscha bhashase. You are speaking like an intelligent man. Buddhiman jaise baatein kar rahe ho. That means you are not buddhiman. So a teacher's job would be initially to chastise the student. You are a fool. Krishna is telling Arjuna. Why is he a fool? Gatasun agatasun. The intelligent person, he does not lament for the dead or the living. Gata asun. Asun means it's prana, life. Asun. Gata asun. Gata asun. Asun means life. Agata asun, life that has not gone, meaning somebody is alive. So the wise man does not grieve for either the living or the dead. So it's a fundamental understanding of Gita. If you, at the end of a class on Gita, if at least there is one thing you want to take home, you know what will it be? Who can say? There's one thing you want to take home. Okay, why will you become detached? Why will you become detached? By studying the Gita. What part of the Gita makes you feel detached? Sorry? That is detached from what? I am asking, why will you feel detached? Rather, why should you feel detached? Yeah.
I think when you feel detached, you become more empowered because you are not.
No, that is the result of detachment. Why will you become detached by studying the Gita?
Because attachment always been a burden, never enough.
That is fine, but why will you get that understanding? Or how will you get that understanding? Okay, you surrender to Krishna, but what understanding by surrendering to Krishna will make you detached? You don't have to be a big scholar of Gita. You know this one thing. At the end of studying the Gita, you would have learned a lot of things. What is that one thing? Yeah. Who said that? Thanks. That I am not the body, I am the soul. If you start with that understanding, at least that I am not the body, I am spirit soul, a lot of issues would be solved in life in general when we understand I am the spirit soul. Isn't it? You should be soul builder also. He is our strongest devotee. One look at him and you'll be convinced. So now I want you to be soul builder also. Now text 12. Very, very important shloka. I will conclude with this shloka because I don't think you can absorb 72 verses in 45 minutes. So I will just speak till this and then we can have some questions or comments. Natve vaham jatu nasam Natvam ne me janadhipaha Janadipaha, not Janadipaha. Janadipaha Na chaiva na bhavishyamaha. Oh, you know by heart, huh, the shloka? So look at it and chant then, if you don't. Unless you want to learn the Vedic way. You want to learn the Vedic way? When we were children, I grew up in South India. When we were children, we were taught the Vedic mantras like this. They would chant and we will repeat. They would repeat. There is no books. You're not supposed to look at the books. You're supposed to memorize the shlokas. But I was thinking like she was repeating the shloka. I was thinking whether she wants to learn like that. But it'll be good. It'll be nice to look at the verses and learn. They're very good. Na chaiva na bhavishyamaha Sarve vayam atah param. Okay, who can read the translation?
Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor the future that any one of us created.
Read it again.
Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be.
Yeah. So, Krishna is telling Arjuna, there was never a time when I was not there, when you were not there, when these kings were not there. I have said this some 10 times from this Vyasasana itself. Why does Krishna have to say there was never a time when I was not there, you were not there, the kings were not there? He could have simply said there was never a time when we were not there, right? So why does he say like this? Sorry? No, that's correct. But my point is, he could have said there was never a time when we were not there. Jai Radha Gopinath Gauranithai ki Jai. Sorry, give her the mic. If the mic doesn't reach you, you reach the mic.
Because soul always exists at body.
That is part of the answer. Krishna could have still said there was never a time when we were not there. But he's saying when I was not there, you were not there, the kings were not there. Why is he saying it like this? Say that again properly.
Is a kind of a personification, like means so that you can relate that I means Krishna.
No. There is no verbal gymnastics here. Krishna is very clear. This is what you're saying is just good grammar.
Right.
This is not good grammar. There is some other specific reason. Philosophically, there is a very strong reason. You will understand when I tell you. You want to say something? Yeah. I'm sure you know this, but you probably overlooked it, I'll tell you.
Probably I understood it like there are different souls.
Excellent, very good. Please give me a big hand. इतनी कंजूसी. इतनी दिक्कत होती है ना दूसरे के सक्सेस में रिजॉइस करने के लिए, इतनी दिक्कत होती है. How dare he say the right answer? So, this establishes the plurality of the individual soul. Meaning Krishna is of course God, but he is eternal. He is different from us. I am a soul. You are a soul. They are all souls. Everybody has individuality eternally. We will all eternally exist. The bodies may change. We all will have independent existence. And it is not something you wake up only at the day of somebody dying and say Ram Nam Satya. I keep saying this point. We are so shameless and so puffed up and arrogant that we don't see the truth. We don't wake up and smell the coffee, as they say. That we are not the body. It is the ABCD of spiritual life. That we are not the body. We build a whole life around the understanding that we are the body. And then before you know, the body dies, it is burnt or buried, and then you say Ram Nam Satya. अरे पहले भी राम नाम सत्य था, तूने अब जागा है. So Krishna starts his instructions on the Bhagavad Gita, especially the science of the soul, that the individual soul is individual in the past, present and future. It is not like हम घुल मिल जाएंगे भगवान में. I want to taste the sugar. Tukaram Maharaj says. I was in Dehu recently in Maharashtra. Dehu is the place where Tukaram Maharaj, the great saint of Maharashtra, he went to Vaikuntha from there. The legend is that Garuda himself came to take him. So he says, I want to taste the sugar. I don't want to become sugar. We can never become Krishna. We are parts and parcels of Krishna. We can never become Krishna. We are eternally his servants. We can only serve him. Currently, we have forgotten who we are. We think we are the body. Therefore, we build relationships based on the body. Therefore, we undertake services based on the body. That I am Indian, I am social worker, I am father, I am mother, I am daughter, I am American, I am patriot, or I am social worker, or I am environmentalist, or I am defense person. All of our services are based on this. When we understand that we are the spirit soul and that we are parts and parcels of Krishna, we will be able to structure our lives around this ultimate reality. We are spirit souls. So therefore, the Gita fundamentally starts with this understanding that we are spirit soul. You want to say something? You raised your hand.
I would like to say that this can be taken in another way also, when Krishna wanted to convince Arjuna that there was no time when I was not there. Krishna was representing himself as a teacher, as a mentor. And there was no time when Arjuna was not there. That means when Prabhu was sitting to learn, was ready to be a disciple. So there was no time when a teacher was not there. There was no time when a shishya, student was not there. And there was no time when these kings, who does something wrong, or they are to be carried in a war, or somebody has to fight against someone. So these kind of factors have always been present, and someone has to take stand against them. So there has always been a time when this thing has been repeating itself. So maybe this is one way.
Very perceptive. But I must caution you that the Shastras tell us that if you have the option of taking the direct meaning and you have the option of developing construed meaning, the priority should be given to the direct meaning. And the direct meaning is that Krishna is God. That doesn't change. It is not like Krishna as a teacher, Krishna as something. Krishna is Krishna. He is eternally God. Similarly, Arjuna as a spirit soul is eternal. Similarly, all the kings as spirit souls are eternal, but they are different from Arjuna. It is not like they'll all become Arjuna together and they'll merge with Krishna. So this is the straightforward Shastric understanding. I'm not saying you're right or wrong, because at the moment we are discussing the direct understanding. We don't want to look at Gita as an alankaric treatise or an ornamental presentation. It is, yes, Swayam Padmanabhasya. It's coming directly from the lotus mouth of Padmanabha. So it is best to go by what the acharyas say. I'm not saying you should not say. Feel free to say, as you always thought independently. Please keep thinking independently, and I encourage these contributions, and I'm grateful that you made this contribution. I just want to highlight the fact further that Shastrically it is important to accept the fact that God is a person, we are persons, and we have our separate existence. We can never become God. But at the same time, we are spirit souls and we are eternal. So this is an understanding. So I will conclude with this, because anything more than 1 hour will be detrimental to your mental health, I think. So I don't want to spoil your Saturday evenings. I don't want to make it shatter day. I don't want to shatter your hopes of a good evening by continuing further. I will conclude here for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. Questions, comments?
First of all, it is not, it's quite different, it's a sweet Saturday now. See, last time in the last class, I think there was we were discussing about like how many people were there in Kurukshetra. I was just thinking later on, it was saying 64 crores.
Yeah.
I was wondering like how 64 crores can be accommodated in that particular, because Kurukshetra is not that big in the sense that, so I was a little confused in the sense that probably the figure is wrong or my understanding is wrong.
Yeah. So there are 2-3 explanations to this. First of all, 64 crores were not at one time, it is spread over 18 days. 2, in previous years, in Dwapara Yuga, people's lifespans were 10 times more than now. People used to live till 1,000 years. So, if time can expand, so can space. There's a time-space continuum that Stephen Hawking talks about. So, space can also expand. This is the second explanation. Third explanation, because Krishna was personally present on the planet at that point of time and at Kurukshetra at that point of time, and his overwhelming purpose was to wipe out the demoniac kings of the world. He personally ensured that each one of them came there and he wiped them out. For him, what is it? He can create life. So it will make a difference. And the fourth thing, if you remove the concept of inconceivability from Bhagavan, he is not Bhagavan. And by that very same reason, all these people, Jayatu Prithvi, Bharanasham, Mukunda, the purpose of Krishna's advent at that point of time. There is definitely Paritrana as sadhuna, but it was also Vinasaya Chadushkritam. So he had to get that done. And fifth, when it comes to Shastra, chronology and time space or trivial dynamics don't matter. What matters is the principle. Just because currently the Kurukshetra that we see is in a certain form does not rule out the possibility that during Dwapara Yuga Kurukshetra could have been larger. So that's the understanding we can have. I've given you 5 reasons. So you can look at it like that. It's easier because you have faith. If you don't have faith, then no matter I tell you, Krishna can stand in front of you and you'll say, this is not Krishna. What's the point? It's bogus, no? When you just say, you will believe your mother saying that somebody is your father. You don't ask her for DNA, no? DNA test, no? But you will ask for proof that Krishna is God. Madhvacharya saying he is God, Ramanujacharya saying he is God, Shankaracharya saying he is God is not enough. Your uncle has to come and say. Or Krishna will personally come before you. Because you, good for nothing, third-rate person, has no understanding of anything, and the Supreme Personality of God has to come before you to prove that he is God. Say, thank you very much. You don't believe in me, I am okay. Yeah, ma'am.
I have a question. I work in corporate, so I recently got promoted as a leader, and I believe I am very,
This is a conspiracy to take away the voice of women.
I am a very much believer and devotee of Shiva, and I believe in God.
Don't allow to speak any further. Yeah.
I know that there, so I do not do, I don't believe in bad karma, so I don't do it. But when I work in the corporate industry, and when we are, and I'm a youngest leader in my group, there's a lot of,
Happy to know that.
yeah, so there are a lot of people who are experienced, and I work for a American company. So they think that I'm naive and I don't understand what they do, like just removing people, doing gossiping, and portraying you something which you're not. But I don't prefer to do that because I have a strong belief system. But they think that I'm naive, but I'm not. I understand that they do. So I try to not to do injustice to the people who are working with me or in a low designation. So I want to understand that how can I mean, I believe in what you do, what you read is what you sow. It's like that. It's something. So I don't,
What would you like to know?
I would want to know that how can I be more, because I don't want to do something that's inappropriate, but there are circumstances that come where I have to decide or choose, and I end up choosing what is right, and sometimes I need to face a lot of consequences for that. Even the other people know that she is, that's where the pain of suffering,
That's where the whole issue comes in.
when you're right and the other person is not understanding.
Doesn't make a difference. If you're following Dharma, that's all it should matter to you. Doesn't matter even if they listen to you. You take one last question. Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, in the interest of time, I will keep my question very short.
Even otherwise, it's better to have a short question.
Yeah, so I just wanted to know why did Krishna choose Arjuna only to give this divine...
Thank you. You are a very special soul because I missed this point, I'll tell you. And when I opened the book, the same page came. So, it's mentioned Arjuna's qualifications to receive spiritual knowledge. Verse number 1, chapter number 1, verse number 22. He had Shama and Dhamma. He had complete control over his mind and senses. First qualification. Second qualification, he had Uparati, indifference to sense enjoyment. He was willing to even beg. He was Titiksha. He had tolerance towards dualities. And he had Shraddha. He had faith in the instructions of Krishna. Above all, Krishna tells him later that Bhaktos hime Saka Chete, you are my devotee and my friend. So I have given you 7 reasons why Krishna chose Arjuna. There is also this thing that it's not easy to face tests given by the Supreme Lord. But those who are devotees of the Lord, they can handle the tests better. They can handle the tests better. Prabhupada gives the example of how a newly married daughter-in-law is never directly instructed by the mother-in-law. The mother-in-law instructs through the daughter. क्योंकि हम लोग झेल नहीं पाएंगे भगवान की परीक्षा. But Arjuna, being a pure devotee of the Lord, is willing to face anything for the sake of the Lord. He is even willing to be proved as stupid. So Krishna chose Arjuna because when you choose your team, you choose your people. And Arjuna was a person who was completely in alignment with Krishna. Also remember that Arjuna and Krishna are eternally present in the spiritual world. Arjuna is an eternal friend of Krishna. So it was natural that he would use him as the instrument to reveal the Gita. Okay? I give you 8 reasons now. Tell me. Okay. Okay. No, I saw you taking notes. That was quite good. She was taking notes on the mobile. Okay, I guess we'll conclude now because I have about 40 kilometers to drive back. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantraj Bhagavad Gita as it is ki. So we'll continue with the second chapter next Saturday. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Rishi Kumara Prabhuji. So we will thank Prabhuji for this wonderful class.